A couple more properties of exponents involving division are if you have a to the x over a to the y, so if you have a fraction that includes two bases that are the same, then you can subtract these exponents. So this is a to the x minus y. Now the reason that you can do that is if you think about if you had a to the 6 over a to the 4, a to the 6 would be a times a times a times a times a times a, and then a to the 4th would be a times a times a times a. So if you cancel out the a's, you'd be left with a squared on the top, which is the same thing as 6 minus 4. Another rule for exponential or exponents in division is if you have a over b all to the x power, you have to distribute this. So you have to multiply your power to each thing. So this is going to be a to the x over b to the x. And also if this already has an exponent, so if you have a over b to the y all to the x power, you're going to multiply the exponent. So it's a to the xy over b to the xy. Now remember, when we're simplifying exponents, we always want to make sure our exponents are positive in our final answer. So letter A, you have the same base as 4, so I'm going to subtract these exponents. So this is going to be 4 to the first power, which is 4. Letter B, there's two ways that you can look at this. You could use the property that we just did, which is this is going to be x to the 5 minus a negative 6, which is x to the 11th. Or you could do what we did previously and then make this exponent positive. So that's going to go in the numerator. Then you're going to add exponents and get x to the 11th. So either way, you're going to get x to the 11th. Letter C, you're going to distribute, multiply the 2, not exponentiate, but multiply each exponent by 2. So this is going to be b to the 14th over w to the 16th. And we can't subtract these exponents because these two are different bases. So this is our answer. Okay, letter D. Now everything needs to get this 2, so it's going to be 2 squared x squared over negative 3 squared. So this is in parentheses, so this is negative 3 times negative 3, which is 9. And then y squared, which is y squared. So this simplifies to 4x squared over 9y squared. And then letter E, I'm going to take each thing and exponentiate it or multiply the net exponents. So this is going to be 2 to the 3rd, y to the negative 6, and then negative 3 to the 3rd is negative 27, and it's going to be y to the 18th. So 2 to the 3rd is 8. Now this y, I can either subtract these exponents, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take y to the negative 6 and put it on the bottom as y to the 6. And then I keep negative 27 where it's at because it doesn't have a negative exponent. So I'm going to put negative 27, and then I'm going to add these two exponents to be y to the 24th. So the negative can go on the top, on the bottom, or in the middle. And then letter F, you're going to cube each thing. So it's going to be b to the 0. So this is going to be b to the 0 power, which is just 1. C, I don't need these parentheses. So c to the negative 6. And then negative 3 cubed is negative 27. So I'm going to make a fraction bar. C to the negative 6 is going to go to the bottom as c to the 6. And then 27 is going to stay on the bottom, and you're going to have nothing on the top, so you should write a 1, and it's negative. The whole thing's negative. And then G, you want to reduce these two coefficients if you can. So I can't reduce these, so I'm going to keep it. Actually, I can drop off the negatives, because the negative divided by negative is a positive. And these G's will cancel out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this h to the -1 on the top and make it positive. So I'm going to have a 3 over 2 h4 h to the 1. Now h4 h to the 1 can be combined to write 3h to the 5 over 2. And then the letter H. So if you have these two numbers right here, you can divide those or reduce. So coefficients you can divide. So 7.5 divided by 2.5 is 3. So this reduces to 3. Now I'm going to write this as with scientific notation. So I'm going to subtract these two exponents. So 12 minus a -2 using the property is 14. So it's going to be 3.0. Now the reason I did 0.0 is because both of these decimals had 1 decimal, so I'm going to answer with 1 decimal, and that's significant digits, and you'll do that later in your science classes. So this is 3.0 times 10 to the 14th power. And then the last one, another. So to do this one, I'm going to reduce 2/8, which is 1/4, times, now these two I'm going to subtract, so 3 minus 8 is -5, so this is times 10 to the -5. Now I want to write this in scientific notation, so this is 0.25 times 10 to the -5, because 1/4 is 0.25. So 0.25 times 10 to the -5 is this number. So I'm going to move this over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 0.000025. So now if I write this number in scientific notation, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The final answer is 2.5 times 10 to the -6. You did not have to write this out right here. You could have just thought, okay, well I have to move the decimal over one more time, and so that's going to be 10 to the -6.